Okay, we're up to good vach to everybody. We're up to Kuf Tes on middays. We had a machlokes in the Mishnah with two brothers are married to two sisters. One is a gedolah, one's a katana, and the husband of the katana dies, and the katana is falling in front. What do you do in that scenario? We had a three-way machlokes between Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Gamliel, and Rabbi Yeshua. Rabbi Eliezer said that you tell the katana to do miyun, right? To tell the katana to do miyun, so the gedolah could still remain with the husband. You go ahead or to perform yibum. That to be able to perform yibum. It's the husband of the husband of the gedolah died. The husband of the gedolah died. So you want to be able to perform yibum. According to Rabbi Gamliel, said that either timaying, that the katana does yibum, or you wait till she gets older, and then as a result, the katana will become a gedolah, and the gedolah will go out as achas ishtar. Now the Gemara is going to discuss that shita of Rabbi Gamliel. The Gemara is going to discuss that shita of Rabbi Gamliel of what happens when she gets older. Exactly what happens. In other words, what happens exactly when she gets older? Is there an action required by the husband? For an example, she's only has kedushi derabanan, and then when she gets older, the husband does bia, and that bia is now like a new kedushin. And Memela, the gedolah is the sister that's a gedolah is asr as achas ishtay, or no, that it's just the kedushin is a kedushin kind of all along. You're just waiting until she becomes a gedolah, and even if you don't do bia, that you're going to go ahead and have a kedushin. So again, the shita is the case. We had the case is two sisters. One was gedolah, one was a katana. They're married to two brothers, and the husband of the gedolah dies. What do you do with that woman? Because it's the marriage to your katana that's not enabling you to go ahead and perform ibun. And Gamliel's din was wait till she gets older. So the Gemara is going to discuss exactly what happens. So we're on Kuf Tes on the base. I'd say we're approximately probably close to 18 lines from the bottom. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. 18. Rabbi Elazar Meirav. Rabbi Elazar ben Pados, he is from Rav. My time with the Rabbi Gamliel. What's the reason for Rabbi Gamliel? That when she gets older, so now the katana becomes the gedolah, and the gedolah goes free as achas ishtay. Mishum de kasavar kidushe katana mitlatali. The kedusha katana is kind of suspended there. V'chi gadla, and when she gets older, gadla bahada, the kedushin goes up with her, and af agav delay ball. And even if the husband does not consummate the marriage at a later stage when she's a gedolah, and still you're free, idilma odilma mishum de kasavar hamekadesh achas yevama, someone who's mekadesh, the sister of a yevama, nifta yevama b'halchala. In other words, the kedushin is not a kedushin at all, and you have a yevama, but you have this kedushin derabanan. Now, when she gets older, at the age of 12 and a day, comes along the husband and lives with her. Now that would go ahead and say the sister of Yevama would free the Yevama. So another nafkamina would be: do you need a bia or not? Do you need a bia when the katana is a gedolah, or even without a bia, it would free what the sister? Without that, would free the sister. E boiled in, Eli boiled loy. So that's the shaila. So again, one more time, because again, I'm not convinced that everyone knows what's flying. You have two brothers married to two sisters. One's a gedolah, one's a katana. The husband of the gedolah dies. Falling in front of the husband of the katana now is his brother's wife. She's a gedolah. He's not able to go ahead and perform yibum because he's married to her sister. That's achas ishtay, but she's a katana. We had a through machlokes what to do in the situation. Rabbi Eliezer says you tell the katana to do miyun. Rabbi Gamliel says you wait till she gets older. And Rabbi Yitzchak says Rabbi Yeshua says you lost. Okay. Anyway, with Shita's Rabbi Gamliel that you wait till she gets older. Do you need a bia to go ahead and free the sister or not? Look, that's the shaila at hand. Says Gemara, Amalei. So Rav told Rabbi Elazar, Hainu time with the Gamliel. What's the reason of Gamliel? Mishum de kasavar hamekadesh achos yevama. Someone who's mekadesh, the sister of his yevama. Niftaru yevama b'halchaba. She goes. That's it. In other words, You just the act of kedushin, and she goes. Iboil in, iloi boil loy. So you need a bia. If you do a bia, yes, not. So it's not shot that the kedushin is there and it keeps on going up, and when she becomes a gedola, the kedushin schal. No, you need a new act of kedushin, a new bia. Rav Sheshes. Amina, I think he shot Naim B'Shach Rav. Amla Shmaitzer Rav must have been slumbering when he said the sugya. The Tanya, Hamakadesh es a ketana. If someone does kedushin to a ketana, kedushaseha tluyin. The kedusha is suspended. What is my tluyin? Lav ki godla, as she ages, godla bahada, it ages with her. And then when she becomes of age, automatically she is mekudeshes based upon the previous kedushin, not requiring a bia. V'afa gavlei bol, and even if not, so Amalei Ravin Bereid Rav Nachman Hamilsa the Ketana Miltla Tala V'Kani, right? The kedushin of a ketana is there. You boil in, you boil loy. Right? The Amra, she says, "Who adaf minai? He is adaf. He is stronger than I. Who adaf minai? He is stronger than I. V'ana adif minei. We both have milas. One, he can divorce me. Two, I can do maimer to him. So then, since right, look at the list Rashi on the page. V'yatzienu beget b'labal karcha. V'ana adif minai b'chol zman she'ertza. As long as I want, eitzim b'miu and al karcha, I can force him against Israel. Okay, so it's mashma that what the Rav holds that if you do a bia yes, a bia not. Again, so just to reiterate, the sheet of Rabbi Gamliel, you have two women falling in front of one woman falling in front of Yevamot. It's his wife's sister, but his wife is a katana. Says Rabbi Gamliel, you wait till she gets older. If you do a bia, then she goes free, but she doesn't go free till you do a bia. The Gemara will question that. The Sava Rav, he boiled in, iloi boil loy. Does Rav hold that you do bia yes, you don't do bia not? Itmar, kitana shaloi miyana, a kitana, regular case. A ketana that does not do mion, she's married to a man, midrabanan, who's married by either a mother or a sister, or herself if her father lost rights. V'higdila, v'omda v'nisas, and now she stands up and she gets married. Right? She gets right. She gets married. She became a gedola. She marries somebody else. Rav Omar, in other words, if she married somebody else as a gedola, there's no mion. So the question is, if the second kedushin is a kedushin or not. After all, if she's an Ashes Ish on the first marriage, good. So guys, let's figure it out. If you're telling me just by getting older, you need a bia, and if you don't do a bia, then you're not really married to the first husband. So therefore, you would need a get from the second husband if you want to go back to the first husband. You need a get. Well, I don't know if you could go back to the first husband after a get, but I'm saying you would need a get. If, on the other hand, you don't need a bia, right, and automatically it happens, then you would even need a get because the gedushin of the second husband is not chal. So says the Gemara, Itmar, Katana Shlei Miyana, she didn't do Miyon, Vigdila, now she's a Gedola, so Miyon's off the charts, Va'omda v'nisas to somebody else, Ravama, Ain't Tzricha get Misheni. You do not need a get from the other person. Ushmu Lama Tzricha get Misheni. Amid Aleph, my lav, the loy baal, it's speaking that you weren't baal. Automatically, it transpired as soon as she became a gedola, she's married to the first husband. Why? Because the kedushin is there, just waiting to be chal when she becomes a gedola without a bia. Kasha, you told me Rav says you do need a bia. How can you say you don't need a bia? Says the Gemara, loy the baal. It's speaking where you were baal. You did a bia. So therefore, guys, since the first husband was baal, Memela, the second husband's kedushin was in chal. Now here's my question. If that's the case, why does Shmuel hold that you need a get from the second husband? Everyone holds if a gedola has bia to a man l'shem kedushin, that what? That it's good kedushin. So why would Shmuel say you don't need a get from the second husband? Why would you need a get from the second husband? You're not married to him. If you did a bia, if the first husband was baal, she's married to the first husband. Says the Gemara, either boil my time with the Shmuel. If there was a bia, what's the reason the Shmuel holds that what? That you need a get. And for Gemara, the Shmuel Savar, Kol HaBoil, Al Das Kedushin Harishan Hu Boil. Right? Anyone who does a bia, the bia is what on the das of the first thing. Meaning, he's not doing a new kedushin He's not doing a new bia l'shem kedushin now. He's just being boil her as he's being boiled all along. So good, the bia takes place when she's 12 years old, but it wasn't bia l'shem kedushin. If the bia was based upon the fact that she was a katana all along, that bia is not a bia for kedushin. So therefore, you would need a get, right? Therefore, you would need a get. That's the svara of what of Shmuel. Said. I'm not functioning over here. So therefore what? So there was never a bia l'shem kedushin to the first husband. Why? Because the bia that took place was al das on the earlier part of the marriage. Mamela, when she marries the second husband, she would need a get. That's Shmuel's din. Fred the Gemara of a pliga b'chad zimna. Rabbi and Shmuel had this machlokes already once before. The itmar kitsha al tanai. Now you make kedushin on a tanai. Let's say a guy makes kedushin al manas that this woman has no nidarim or no mumim. She makes a condition that there's no he has no nidarim or no mumim. Vikonsa stam, and then he goes ahead afterwards. He married her, and you found out afterwards, right, that you did have nidarim. Rav amatzrichi menu get. Rav says that what you need a get. Ushmul ama ain't tzrichi menu get. Right? Says Rashi, v'konsu stam v'akach nimtzu Allah nidarim tzricha get. The bia l'shem kedushin have. The bia was l'shem kedushin. The idea hoya shein kedushin rishonim klum. He says that the kedushin rishonim wasn't anything. So Rav says what? In other words, he made a kedushin al tanai, but when he was boil her, he was boil as stam. So therefore, you need a get because we say that the kedushin now is not going back on the tanai. Where Shmuel says, "Ain't it tzrichim menu get? You don't need a get, right?" Rav tzrichim menu get. Kivin the nasfa, since he married a stam without saying anything, achuli achle l'tanoha. He's Michael the tanai. We spoke about chibas bia, right? The chibas bia, he does away with all the conditions. So that's why there's ain't tanai bin l'nesuin. So says Shmuel, says Rav, since he was kind of stam, it's a good kedushin because even though the tanai wasn't fulfilled, it's like a new kedushin, and therefore you need a get. Shmuel ain't tzrichim menu get because kol boil das kedushin rishonim boil. When he was kind of stam, it was based upon the first kedushin. So what's happening over here, guys? He went ahead, he gave her a kesef kedushin or a shtar, and he said, "This is your kedushin al menas that you don't have any nedarim." He goes ahead and he's boil her. Now he lives with her, right? But stam, he doesn't say anything. Good. If the action that he's doing now is connected to the first kedushin, then it's not a kedushin. You will need a get. If, however, the act he's doing now is not connected to the first kedushin because he did it stam, then you would need a get. Says Rav, that's what happened over here. He was kind of stam. Kola you boil right on now, on what's going on now, not on what's on before. Therefore, you would need a get because you're married. Mashenkin says Shmuel, no. Kola boil now is boil on das, so it's going back to the kedushin that he made. That there's no nedarim upon her. So therefore, the kedushin is not a kedushin because it's going back before. So the Gemara is asking the same machlokes we have this machlokes by Tanai, by Rabbi and Shmuel, by having now. Why do you have to have this machlokes now by Rabbi and Shmuel by Mion? By Mion says Shmuel, you know why you need a get? It's because you know why. According to Shmuel, why do you need a get from the second husband? Because the bia that you did was the bia of a katana, even though she was a gedolim, it's going back before. So just like over there, it's going back before. It's going by tonight. It's also going back before. And Rav says, no, you go on the now. So the question, they had the same achloikas, the same svara, one by case of me and one by the case of tonight. Why do they have to have a second time? That's the Gemara's kasha. So the Gemara answers, tzricha, you need to tell me. Now let's go to the Bach, guys. Look at the Bach. There's an aleph. Look in the Sadi Gemara in the Bach. We're going to do the Bach. Tevis, he says, the itmar tzricha tevis elu mitmachak. That means these words are erased. V'nira be'enai, and says the Bach, here's this Rashi. The itmar bahar, if you tell me by the case of Tanai, bahar kama Rav, mishum deleka tana. Because if you tell me by us by the case of Mion, there Rav says you go after what? After the latter kedushin, and not go back before, because there's no condition. But when there's a Tanai, Dika Tanai, Ema Moidel Shmuel, that you go back on the Tanai, by Tanai, by he come a Shmuel. By case of me and Ema Moidele Larav, that would go after the here and now, that therefore it's a good Kedushin. No, it's Sricha tell me if you go after Shmuel would hold, even without the Tanai, you go back previously. That's the way we're going to be guys. Fred the Gemara, Rav, go back to the Gemara now. And the Tosfos says, if Lagabu, go 2 lines above that. Umiyam Rav ki boil in Eloi Loi. Does Rabbi Lili say, like Rabbi Gamliel, that when she becomes a Gedolah, the only way that she is his full-fledged wife is to do a bia. But the fact that she became a Gedolah based upon a previous Kedushin, which was a Ketana, doesn't count. Rav says you have to do an act of Kedushin, right? For Hahi Uvda the Havi ben Narish, there was a case in the town of Narish. The Ikdeshe Kishi Ketana, he was Magdasha when she was a Ketana, the Godla, and she got older. For Oisve Abe Kurseh, they put her on the bridal couch that they used to carry to the chuppah. Now, Pashtus guys, let's go through the scenario. They were living together as a man and wife as a Ketana. Now she's a Gedolah, and they're having a wedding. If they're leading her to the wedding on the couch, we can assume there wasn't relations, correct? We can assume there wasn't relations because it's before the wedding now. For Asu Achrina, came along another man, the Chatfa Minei, and Mamish chapped this girl from him, gave Kedushin. For Rav Bruno of Rav Chananel, Talmidei de Rav Have, they were both Talmidim of Rav, Hasam, V'yetzrichu Gita Mibasra, and did not require a get from the latter person. But 1 second, didn't Rav say, in order for her to be married, she needs a bia? Over here, in this case in Narish, if they're leading her to the chuppah, obviously there was no bia. They're leading her to the wedding. There was no bia. Yet they said that you don't need to get from the second one. Mashma, why don't you need to get from the second one? Because she was married to the first husband without a bia. Kasha. We have the Talmidim of Rav acting with Rav. They would have gone ahead according to Rav. They would have said, Daf give you a boil. Over here, Pashtus, there wasn't a bia. And for the Gemara, Amar Papa ben Narish, in the town of Narish, Minsvav Nasve, first they would get married and they would live together as man and wife. They would have relations. And then they would go to the party. Then they put her on the party. So it's not a kasha. And achinami, the reason why they took her away from the second husband, because there was a bia as the gedolah. Since there was a bia as the gedolah, she's married to the first husband, and it's unnecessary a get from the second husband. And Rav is consistent that you need a bia when she becomes a gedolah. Rashi says, "Who asa shleika hoigin?" No. Really, would need a bia. Why over here don't you need a bia? Is because the second husband acted incorrectly by chopping her away. What did they do? They were mafka this person's kedushin. They did away with the second person's kedushin. We said that Rashi says Kol Makadesh Adas Moshe Yisrael. Over here they weren't Makadesh Adas Moshe Yisrael at all. They chapped him. So Tosfos says using the din of Hefka Bes and Hefka, they went ahead and they destroyed this guy. So Amalei Ravina Ravashi, Teinach the Kitchen Bekas, but that's very good using the din of Hefker Bes and Hefker. If they said that the Kesef Kedushin wasn't Kesef Kedushin. Kiddush Babia my, what are you going to say if she Mekadosh Babia? Says, I'm going to Shavra Ban Libas Bilisnus. Say Nachanami, they'll make his Bila Bilisnus. I'm Rabbi Shmuel Allah Rabbi Eliezer. After this long discussion in the Shita of Rabbi Gamliel, the halacha is like Rabbi Eliezer, that Yesh the Zika. Guys, let's go through it. Right? Let's go to case. 2 men married to 2 sisters. One is a Gedolah, one's a Ketana. The Gedolah dies. The Ketana now is falling in front of what? The Gedolah is falling in front of the husband of the Ketana. He can't go ahead and be Miyabimha because he's married to the sister. Yeh Zika. The Zika is strong enough that he can't do Yibum. So what did Rabbi Eliezer say? We say the Zika is so strong, it's stronger than the Kedushin de Rabbanon. We make the girl, Ketana, his wife, give miyun, so he can fulfill the mitzvah of what? Of Yibum. Not like Allah is not like Rabbi Yeshua that you can't do anything, that they're both lost. Not like Rabbi Gamliel that wait till she gets older. The Allah is in conjunction with Rabbi Eliezer that we go ahead, we force the issue, gives miyun, and therefore what? And halacha is like Rabbi Eliezer. That's halacha like Rabbi Eliezer. Just 1 second. Okay, this Mishnah I don't know if you need the books. You don't need the books. The next two blot are quite difficult. Today's blot and tomorrow's blot are difficult. Okay. Let's see, page 305. Okay, so 305, first side. You have a woman, right? A man is married to two ketanos. He dies. The halacha is the bia of one, the bia of the other are equal. The rule of thumb of this Mishnah, guys, is here's the rule of thumb to understand the Mishnah. If everything is equal, you can do bia or chalitza to one or the other. If one is a superior kedushin to the other, then you'll do chalitza to that. You always do the action to the more superior one. So here you have two equal cases. They're both what? They're both ketanos. It's kedusha derabanan. So whichever one you do bia to will pata the other, or you do chalitza to one of them, and that would pata. Next column, shnei chareshais. Again, those are, you notice the ear, the ear, little ear. You have two. Man is married to two deaf mutes. Deaf mute has no das, literally, and therefore, if you could do either what. Only bia. There's no chalitza. Chalitza does not exist by a cheresh. Chalitza does not exist by a cheresh. You know why? She can't talk. And you have to say, guys, you have to read the parsha. My Yevamot doesn't want to read me. Kachi yasel ish. You have to talk. Since she can't talk, there's no chalitza. All you can do is yibam. So you have two chereshes. You do yibam to one or to the other. What about you have a katana, page 306. Page 306. You have now a katana and a chereshes. Now, are they equal or not? So it says the bia of achas mehin peteres tzirasan, because you don't know in this case which one is better. They're both kedushi derabanan. The chereshes has a mila, she's a gedala, and the katana has a mila that she'll become eventually be a full-fledged wife. A bia will be a bia. So each one has a mila over the other. So this is similar to the first two cases. And they're equal. So therefore, whichever one you do will pata the other. Okay. We said, but since you don't know which is better, you can't do anything. Okay, let's hold off on Ketza Takanta. That's tomorrow's daf. Let's hold off on that. Okay, page 307. You have married to a healthy woman and one to a chareshes. So over here, clearly you have a healthier kedushin, right? The husband of the charesh of the two brothers, the husband of the one married to the keches and the chareshes dies. So obviously you're going to do bia to the normal woman because that's a superior kedushin. That's a superior kedushin. And if you going down completing the thing, if you would do bia to the inferior one, it wouldn't pat to the other one. As we're going to see, that kedushin is not such a strong kedushin. Therefore, the zika to the pikachas is still there. To remove that zika, you need chalitza. So if you do what the healthy woman, the pikachas, the normal woman, that would take care of the chareshes. If you do the chareshes, it's not going to remove the zika totally from the kedushin deraisa of the pikachas. You have to do chalitza. Now, what about the next column, page 307? The next column, you have a gedola and a katana. Let's say you have a gedola and a katana. So again, over here you have a superiority, right? The gedola is more superior than the katana. Yes. So therefore, the husband of the gedola katana dies. You should do bia the gedola, that would pop to the katana. However, if you do bia to the katana, it's not going to pop to the gedola, and you would need chalitza. The same thing again. In other words, we can sushtel the katana and the chereshes vis-a-vis the pikachas as being an inferior kedusha. Okay, let's see the Mishnah. Let's see it inside. Page Kuf Yud. Misha hoya nasu l'shtei yisleimus, again was married to two yisleimus ketanos. So you have two kedusha derabanans, umeis, and he consequently dies. The brother, the husband, the brother biyasa chilatzasa shalachas mehem paiteres terasa. Since they were on equal footing, one will pat to the other. V'chein shtei chereshes ketana, v'chein shtei chereshes period. Two chereshes. But be aware, guys. By the chereshes, there is no chalitza. Oh, that means only bia. The Gemara is going to ask is a kasha. The Gemara is going to ask, it's mashma from the flow of the Mishnah, either a bia or a chalitza would pata the chareshes, but it's not true. Chareshes can't do chalitza. The Gemara's going to ask a kasha. So I'm giving you a heads up. It means bia. Next, ketana v'chareshes. So these are both inferior, right? Both ketana, both the rabbanon. Ein bia achas me'en pateres terasa. One bia is not going to pata the other, and Bez Hashem tomorrow we'll see the takana what to do in this scenario. Pikachas v'chareshes. If you have a pikachas v'chareshes, you have a healthy woman, a normal woman with a full-fledged zika v'chareshes. Bia pakaches pateres chareshes. Again, she's the tzara. It's tzara. If you go ahead, you give bia to, you do yibum to the pikachas, it's going to pata the chareshes. The ain bia chareshes pateres is a pikachas. You would need chalitza. Since it's a kedushin d'Rabbanan, it's an inferior kedushin, you would have to go ahead wad. And after, if you did bia to the chareshes, you would have to give chalitza to the pikachas. Well, we saw all these clearly in the pictures. Gedoylu ketana, again, the same scenario. Gedoyla is more superior. Bia ha-gedoyla, paiteres ha-ketana. The bia of the gedoyla will pat the ketana. Then bia ha-ketana, paiteres ha-gedoyla, you would need a chalitza. Fred the Gemara kasha. The chareshes pas chalitza he. In a case where you had a man who was married to two chareshes and died, mashma, you give bia or chalitza to any one of them and you free the other. Is it possible with chalitza? But nan, cheresh shenechlatz, a cheresh that does chalitza, the cheresh shecholza, or she gives chalitza, but chaletzes min hakoten chalitza slay psula. It's all possible. So you see, there's no chalitza. So I'm not good lamarav abia. It's taken even. It's not going back on chalitza. It's going back on bia. The bia of one will pat to the other. But in nachinami, there's no chalitza. Rabba, guys, change the gears. It's a very important Rabba. We're going to begin now a whole Gemara for Rabba to slug up Rabba. Rabba Amar, afilu tema achilatzoi, kan b'chareshes meikara, kan b'pakachas v'achkach nischaresh. Our Mishnah is speaking where she was a chareshes meikara. So how does she get married if she's a chareshes? She can't speak and she can't hear. She got married using some type of sign language. Just like she went in using sign language, she'd be able to go out using sign language, meaning she'd be able to do chalitza without the kriya. Guys, very important, right? You hear? She got married. If she got married meikara as a chareshes, obviously she couldn't say anything. She got married with a mime, with just mouth, you know. So says Rabba a chiddush nifla that there's a difference in chareshes. If she was a chareshes meikara, then she would be able to go ahead and have a chalitza even without saying anything. Why? She went in with remiza, with winking, with remazim. She went out that way too, without kriya. Masha'en came the Mishnah before that said a chareshes can't do chalitza is speaking where once upon a time she was healthy and normal. So she had a full-fledged kedushin. The mela, she can't go out with a chalitza without a kriya, and therefore she can't do it. That's Rabba's chiddush. We're going to slug up Rabba, and next, the whole shear, the whole remaining part of the shear is the slug up Rabba. So let's get Rabba down correctly again one more time. Rabba is making a distinction between a chareshes who went in as a chareshes when she got married. If she got married as chareshes, she can go out as a chareshes. What does going out as chareshes mean? What does that mean? That she is getting chalitza without a kriya. She's getting through remisa, through remazin. So therefore, that's our Mishnah. So therefore, when the Mishnah said, if a man married two chareshos, right, the bia of chalitza of one of them can pat to the other. There's no chalitza. We had a Mishnah saying there's no chalitza. No, that Mishnah said the chalitza is she got married, she was normal, and then she became a chareshes. Therefore, she went in with a deraisa. She can't go out without a chalitza with a kriya. Masha'en came where she went in as a chareshes. She can go out with a chareshes. That's Rabba's chidush. We're going to spend the rest of the share slugging up Rabba, and in the end, it's going to be tiyufta the Rabba. We're going to prove unequivocally that even a chareshes meikara cannot perform chalitza. Again, even a chareshes meikara cannot perform chalitza. We're going to slug up Rabba. That's the remaining part of the share. Okay, says the Gemara. So what, I just spoke of that. Chareshes meikara kihechi the aisle, just like she went in biramiza hachi nafik. That's the way she goes out biramiza. So therefore, you can do chalitza. Pikachas v'achach nischarsha. If she was a pikachas and then became nischarsha, loy. Why? The ma'akim ba kriya, because kriya, the act of reading that's required by a chalitza, would be ma'akiv. If someone is a cheresh meikara, can she do chalitza for a tanan? Okay, we're going to begin quoting the Mishnah on Kuf Yud Beis. We're going to quote mamish the whole Mishnah. Okay, we're going to begin quoting the whole Mishnah. Okay, let's look at picture 307. Picture 307. It's page 322. Page 322 in the book, bottom picture. Okay, you got two brothers married to what? To two women who are not sisters. That's why one's in black and one's in white. Good? You have two brothers married to two, right? One's a cheresh and one's not. So, but the two men are healthy. One is a cheresh and one's not. Okay? The one that was married to the cheresh, the one that was what? Was married to the cheresh dies. Then what? He can go ahead and he wants to marry her, and he can go ahead, then he might see what to get. What about if the healthy person dies? Meis pikachas, if the person that's healthy dies, right? And now the Bal Cheresh, oy chaylitz oy miyabeng, he could do either one. He could do either chalitza, or he could do yibum. He could do chalitza, or he could do yibum. Okay, he could do yibum. Okay, let's see the Gemara. Shnei achim, echad pikeach v'echad cheresh, nesu l'shtei nachriyos, achas pikachas v'achas chereshes, meis cheresh, bal chereshes, ma yase, pikeach bal pikachas, koinis, he goes ahead, he can do yibum, and he wants what? And if he wants to go ahead and divorce her, then he can. No, she's not a bas chalitza, she can't do chalitza. So in other words, she can't do chalitza. That's the kasha, guys. She can't do chalitza. You have no option. You have to do yibum and then get. In other words, fellas, take a look at again. Look at the page again. I'll be masked with something. The lower picture, the bottom picture, all the way to the right. This woman, there's a zika on this chereshet. On the chereshes, there's a zika, correct? How do you free her? How do you free her? There's only two ways you can free her. Either chalitza or yibum, yes? Chalitza or yibum, yes? Now, what advice did the Mishnah give? Here's the way you free her. You do yibum, and then you give her a get. Why couldn't you do chalitza? Because she's not a bas chalitza, correct? If I can prove to you that this is speaking about a chereshes meikara, we'd have a kasha on Rav. If I can tell you that that woman was a cheresh from the beginning, you'd have a kasha on Rav. Guys, you good? Guys, you see it in front of you? Okay, let's see again inside. So now, kindness, he's miyabim her, 2 lines on the bottom. Now we'd go ahead and free her to marry somebody else. Conversely, which we don't need for our kasha, no, that I didn't do. Okay. What about? Okay. The last picture on the page. Meis pikeach bal pikachas. So who dies? The husband of pikachas. So kindness, he marries her. The eina mites la'olam. Says Rashi, why? Shein gitay mafkia kiddushay achiv pikeach. She's kikuko liyibum. Okay. If he would give a get, right? If he would give a get to the woman who is a chareshes, right? The kiddushin. Why is she falling to Yibum? Meis pikeach, bal pikachas, kindness. He marries her. Ve'ena moitzel oilam. He can't divorce her. Ve'ena moitzel oilam. She'ein gitoi that he would give mafkia kedushay achiv pikeach sheskiku lo liyibom. His brother, his get's not going to take it off. His get is not going to take it off. Nice. Ve'ena moitzel oilam. Kindness. He marries her. She'ein gitoi mafkia kedushay achiv pikeach. Why she found to you? Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, anyway, it's not. We don't need it for the kasha. My lab bechareshes meikara. She's chareshes meikara v'katani kindness the kindness in chaylitz lai. He can only marry her. Right in picture number 1 on the right side, he can only marry her, but he can't do chalitza. V'achach neschasha isn't speaking about what that she was bekech meikara. She was a chareshes meikara, and nonetheless he can't do chalitza. Says Moraloi. That's speaking about the obvious answer. No, it's not speaking about she was always a cheresh. She was normal and then a cheresh, and therefore you won't be able to do chalitza. But in a chinami, if she was a cheresh meikara, you'll be able to do chalitza. Toshma, okay. You got 2 brothers. Shnei achim pikchin, 2 brothers that are nesuin shtei nachriyos, that are married to two women. Achas pikachas v'achas chareshes. One is a pikeach and one is a chareshes. Meis pikeach bal chareshes. Now, so what's this case over here? Achas charesh. One of the brothers is a cheresh. No. I need another case. That's my case. Shnei achin pichin, shnei achin pichin. The shtu is shnei achayos pikachas v'achas chareshes. Picture 303. Page 320. You got 2 brothers who are healthy. The su and shtei nachriyos. No, that's not the case. You got 2 brothers, right? 2 brothers, pikchin. 2 brothers, pikchin, were normal. The snu in the base nachriyos. Achas pikachas, v'achas chareshes. Oh, that's page 322, picture 306, guys. Shnei pikchin, the snu shtei nachriyos. Achas pikachas v'achas chareshes. Okay, it's the picture above, 322, the picture above. So let's see the two possibilities over here. So the one who's married to the chareshes dies, kindness, he marries her, and then he can divorce her, same as what? As we said below. What happens if the healthy person dies? Right? If they're mat, he can go either do a chalitz or miyabe. He could do either chalitza or he could do yibum. Let's see it inside. Shnei bekich nesunish de'achayis achas bekachas achas chareshes meis bekech bal chareshes ma yasa bekech bal bekachas kindness and right loitzi yoitzi meis bekech bal bekachas ma yasa bekech bal chareshes. The one who's married to chareshes or chalitz or miyabe. You could do chalitza or yibum. My lab midahu pikeach meikara, when he was healthy, he nami chareshes meikara. She also was a chareshes meikara. In other words, the assumption is that the husband that's normal, that was always normal, married a girl who was always a chareshes. Vikatani kindness in chayletz loy. Says l'chayri, you can only do what? You only do yibam, not chalitza. She was a cheresh meikara. Again, the assumption being that if he was normal all along, she was not healthy all along. It says, "Lo imidi area hakadisa hakadisa." It doesn't make a difference either way. In other words, he was normal, but she could have been not normal, and then she became a cheresh. Lav dafka that she was a cheresh initially. Maybe she wasn't. Maybe she was healthy and then became a chereshes. Shnei achim. What's the next case? Shnei achim echad bikeach ve'echad cheresh. Okay, echad bikeach ve'echad cheresh, who are married. Shnei achim echad bikeach ve'echad cheresh, and soon shnei achayois achas bikachas ve'achas chereshes. Okay, I think this is picture 320. No. Yes, it's page 320. It's the lower picture, 303. Okay, you got two brothers. One is healthy. One is a cheresh. This is not the case. Shnei achim, achas bikeach ve'echad cheresh. Nesuin shtei achayos, achas cheresh, achas bikeach ve'echad cheresh. Okay, page 321. Okay, you have two brothers. One's healthy, one's not. Right? They're each married. One's married to the healthy one. One's married to the not healthy one. The non-healthy one's married to the healthy one. The one that's not healthy dies. So the one that's a cheresh goes free because it's achasisha. Guys, the bottom picture, right? 304.2. 304.2. That the chereshes goes free because she's the sister of his wife. He doesn't do anything. She's free. Good? Guys, see it? Now, 304.1 bays. What about the opposite? Meis pikeach bal pakachas. Moitzias ishtay beget. He divorces his wife with a get. The eishes achiv asura la'olam. He divorces his chareshes because it's achas kukaso, and now his wife is asa la'olam. The eishes achiv asa la'olam because what? Because it's kerushas achiv. Says the Gemara. Again, we're going to ask a kasha on Rabbi on Esvei. Shnei achim, echad bikeach ve'echad cheresh. Guys, we're all going to do this. These cases, we're all going to come to the next parak. These are all kufya beis amid beis. Okay, all we want to establish is this cheresh is a cheresh meikara to ask questions. Shnei achim, echad bikeach ve'echad cheresh. Nesuin shtei achayos. Achas bikachas ve'achas chereshes. Meis cheresh bal chereshes. Ma'yaseh bikeach bal bikachas. Teitzim shemachas isha. She goes, it's your wife's sister. Meis bikeach bal bikachas. Ma'yaseh cheresh bal chereshes. Moitzias ishto beget. The eishes achiv asura la'olam. It's achas grusha so. V'chi tema hachanami bikeach ve'akach mischaresh. If you're going to tell me that she was healthy and then she became a chereshes, nimatzi mafik would be able to divorce her, right? But tanan nischarcha yoitzi, nishtarta lo yoitzi. If she becomes a cheresh, you can divorce her. If she becomes unhealthy, deranged, you can't. Nischarish who, right? If he becomes the cheresh, nishtarta lo yoitzi olamis. Elalav, it must be speaking, right? So therefore, you won't be able to divorce her. Elalav must be becheresh meikara. Now, when he's a cheresh meikara, with the who cheresh meikara, hinami cheresh meikara. Now, this is speaking about sisters. Umedachoyes chereshes meikara, nachriyos. The previous cases when they were not sisters, nami chereshes meikara. In other words, this is one consistent mishnah. So, if one mishnah we're proving that it must be chereshes meikara, it must be the case of nachriyos also a chereshes meikara. The Tanan Gavin at nachriyos. And we said by the case of Nachrayas, kindness, you can only do Yibum in Chaylet Sloi. So Ishtik, Rabbi was quiet. L'chayra, you see that a Cheresh Meikara is not a Bar Chalitza. So therefore, in our Mishnah, how do we get into this, guys? Where a man is married to two Chareshais and he dies. We said that, what? You can only do Yibum, you can't do Chalitza. Rabbi wanted Mechadish, that our Mishnah is speaking what? That you could do Chalitza because it's speaking Cheresh Meikara. And we're disproving from the Mishnahs in the next parak, by Cheresh Meikara, you can't do Chalitza. That's the says the Gemara. Now, we're assuming, fellas, that what? That the case of Achayos and Nachriyas are the same. That just like the Achayos was speaking about a Cheresh Meikara, the Nachriyas also was speaking about a Cheresh Meikara. So, Kiyasal Kamed Rav Yosef, when this whole thing came in front of Rav Yosef, Amalei, my timer Toisev Meha. Why are you asking from this case on Rabbah? The Yachal Ishnu Yelcha, he can answer you. Achayos Chareshes Meikara, Nachriyas Bikechas V'achach Nescharish. The Achayos Ein Achinami is speaking about the Cheresh Meikara, but the case in Nachriyos of our Mishnah is speaking what? Where they were first to be Keach and then in Ischarish. So therefore, why are you asking from there? In other words, says Rabbi Yosef, I'm going to slug up Rabbah, but not from your source. From your source, I have a teretz. Your source is predicated upon saying the din of Nachriyas and Achayas are equal. Just like Achayas is Meikara, so to Nachriyas is Meikara. No. Achayas is Meikara. Nachriyas is first you were healthy and then you were not healthy. Okay? Now, but if you want to slug up Rabbah's din that a Cheresh Meikara could do Chalitza, here's where you slug it up from. My time to taste me the Achlish Karesh Meikara. Nachriyas Bekachas Viachad Skarish. Ali Boil Chalitza Mihad. Slug up from here. Shnei Achim Chareshim. You got two brothers who are both Chareshim. You got two brothers, and they're both Chareshim. Both of the brothers are Chareshim. They both can't hear and they can't be what, and they can't speak. The Su and Shtei Achayes Pichais. They're married to two healthy women. Shtei Achayes Chareshais, or you have two sisters that are Chareshais. Shtei Achayes Achas Pikachas Viachas Chareshes. V'chein Shnei Achayes Chareshes Nesuas L'Shtei Achim Pichin or the Shnei Achim Chareshim. In each side over here, you have a tzad cheresh, guys. They're going to be part the word from chalitza and yibum. You're not going to have they're going to part the one's going to part the other. Right? And if they were nachriyos, yachnusu. Now hechidami. If you're telling me that they were healthy and then they were become chareshos, you must see mafka, could they divorce them? But nan the status la yotzi the skarish who and the status la yotzi alamis. So how could he divorce her? Elolav, it must be a chareshim meikara. It must be they were chareshim initially. With the chareshim meikara, inu nami chareshim meikara. The ketani im hoyin achriyos yachnusu dafka yibum yachnusu in yachlutzu lo. So again, we're proving that according to Rabbah, even cheresh meikara is not able to perform chalitza. Tiyufta the Rabbah, tiyufta. This will be an upslug on Rabbah. Okay, I know I fun for the last thing. The main thing I just wanted to get that Nakuda down. B'ez Hashem, we get the Kufya base. We'll do these more barichas. Tomorrow's daf is challenging. B'ez Hashem, we'll do it tomorrow morning, probably about 9:30, 9:45 in that area. 9:30, 9:45 in that area. Have a good day. Have a good